All right, let's talk about one of the biggest myths that's probably holding you back, especially if you're trying to juggle, well, everything a career, family, and on top of that, these huge ambitions you have. We're going to completely dismantle this idea of spare time and show you how to build a system that actually gets you where you want to go. Does this sound familiar? You've got that huge dissertation to write, or maybe a business you want to launch, or a new skill you're dying to master. And what's the game plan? Just kind of squeeze it into the gaps, right, in your spare time? Look, you are definitely not alone in thinking this way, but I'm telling you, that exact mindset, it's probably the single biggest thing holding you back. So think about it like this. On the one hand, you've got this vague hope, right? I'll get to it when I find the time. But on the other hand, you have a concrete, deliberate action. I have blocked off 3 hours for this every single Tuesday night. See, this isn't really about willpower. It's about structure. And that right there is the fundamental difference between staying stuck and actually making real, tangible progress.
Okay, so first things first, let's really dig in and expose the core problem here. It's this illusion that so many of us fall for, and we call it the spare time myth.
And this is the absolute heart of the issue. We just wait around for this leftover time to magically appear. But guess what? It never does. Why not? Because it gets eaten up by everything else. Daily chores, your job, your family, and let's be honest, just pure exhaustion. Relying on spare time is literally like waiting for it to rain in the middle of a desert. It's just not going to happen. You need a much, much better strategy. And having that strategy is absolutely essential, especially when the stakes are really high. Which brings us right to our next point, the non-negotiable standard. Let's make this real for a second. Let's put a number on it. See that? 150. A standard 15-credit postgraduate module that requires about 150 notional hours of work. And that's the total time you're expected to put in. We're talking lectures, reading, research, assignments, the whole shebang. This is a real, measurable commitment. You can't just wing it. And listen, this is a super important distinction to make. That label, part-time, it only refers to your schedule. It has nothing to do with the expectations for your work. The intellectual rigor, the depth of your research, the quality of your output, all of that is completely non-negotiable. The standard is the standard. So, if spare time is a total myth and the standards are sky high, what do? What's the actual solution? Well, we have to shift from a passive, I hope I find time mindset to a proactive one. And that's where this idea comes in, structured commitment. So what is it? Here's the core idea. It's not about finding time anymore. It's about protecting it. It's a total shift from being reactive, just hoping for a free hour to pop up, to being proactive and deliberately carving out that time with serious intention. Okay, so what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, first you get out your calendar and you physically block out the time. You treat it like any other important appointment. Then you set clear, achievable milestones. Think of them as steps on a ladder to your bigger goal. Next, you build in some accountability. Tell your supervisor, form a study group, whatever works. And finally, you have to treat this time with the same seriousness as a professional deadline or a signed contract. It's that important. I absolutely love this quote because it completely reframes how we think about this. This is not about being a rigid, joyless robot. Not at all. It's about designing a system that actually protects you from burnout, from chaos, and from that awful feeling of constantly being behind. It's resilience by design. Okay, but even when you have the perfect system all set up, there's a problem. Our own brains can sometimes sabotage our best efforts. So we need to talk about a really common psychological hurdle that gets pretty much everyone. It's called the planning fallacy. You know this feeling. Have you ever thought, oh, this will only take me an hour, and then you look up and 3 hours have gone by and you're still not done? Yep, that's the planning fallacy in action. It's a cognitive bias where we are just chronically, almost wildly optimistic about how long a task is going to take, even if we've done it before. So how do we fight back against our own brains? First, you have to build in buffer time. Just assume things will take longer. Think of it like an insurance policy against delays and unexpected problems. And second, start tracking your time. Just for a little while, compare your estimate for a task to how long it actually took. This simple act is huge. It builds self-awareness and makes your future planning way, way more realistic. Okay, theory is great, but let's get super practical. I want to give you some concrete tools you can start using like today to build out your structured commitment system. Let's open up your commitment toolkit. First up, you've probably heard of this one, the Pomodoro technique. It's so simple, it's brilliant. You pick a task, you work with pure focus for 25 minutes, then you take a 5-minute break, and you just repeat that cycle. After about 4 rounds, you take a longer break. What this does is it trains your focus and it helps fight off mental fatigue so you can make steady, consistent progress without completely burning yourself out. Next up, we have to transform our vague intentions into concrete plans. So instead of a goal like work on my thesis, which is kind of useless, you use the SMART goal framework. A much better goal is something like write 500 words for chapter 2, specifically on Tuesday from 6 to 8 p.m. See how much better that is? It's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. It takes a fuzzy idea and turns it into a clear, actionable plan. And really, this is the core mindset that ties all of these tools together. Your goal is not just to be busy, it's to be effective. I mean, 90 minutes of pure, deep, focused work is infinitely more valuable than 6 hours of sitting at a desk, distracted and just chipping away at things. All right, so as we start to wrap this up, let's just drive home the main message one more time. It's time to stop waiting for things to happen and start building the conditions for them to happen. You have to make time, not find it. And please, remember this. The most successful people, they're not always the most gifted or the ones with the most free time. They are the most consistent. Success is about showing up. It's about protecting that time you've set aside and just doing the work again and again. You know, this quote from Jim Rohn just says it all perfectly. Imagine your big, ambitious goal is on one side of a canyon, and you're standing on the other. Well, all these systems we've talked about, the structured commitment you practice, that's the discipline. That's what builds the bridge that gets you from where you are to where you want to be. So what is the one single takeaway from all of this? It is a complete and total shift in your mindset. It's the difference between waiting for an opportunity to show up and going out and making one for yourself. It is the commitment, the mantra that says, I don't wait for spare time. I create it.